Saizo is a ninja taking a nap in the middle of the forest. In his dream, he remembers when he was a kid growing up in a ninja village. He used to spend all his time training with his best friend, who he considered a brother, admiring him for his strength. But one day, his best friend chose to leave their town. He had discovered a master to whom he wanted to serve and give his life to. Unfortunately, the master only used him as a tool for his own gain and decided to take his life. Saizo witnessed this incident, and at that moment he vowed to take out the master and all of his followers. From then on, Saizo only accepted mercenary work and would never trust or serve another person again. Awakening to the sound of footsteps, he was on high alert in case somebody was after him. But then he saw a young girl who stumbled into his arms. He asked her if someone was chasing her and she nodded. He thought the situation was a bit chaotic and he tried to walk away. Saizo didn't want to get hurt for any silly reason, but a bunch of ninjas suddenly showed up and tried to attack him. However, Saizo was so strong that he quickly beat them all in no time. The girl, Izanami, was on her way to Yuta Castle to look for assistance from Lord Yukimura and asked Saizo to protect her. He refused at first, but she managed to bribe him with a tasty meal. After that, Izanami asked Saizo who he was and he told her he was a samurai who didn't have a master. Izanami and Saizo reached the castle of Yukimura. He welcomed them warmly, and Izanami told him how she had to flee from Izumo Shrine because it was ambushed by ninjas sent by their lords. Fortunately, the priest was able to protect Izanami and instructed her to find Yukimura and ask for his help. Yukimura chose not to assist Izanami and went away. Izanami was very upset and started to cry, feeling remorseful that she was the only one left while everybody else had passed away. Saizo saw her in this state and sympathetically patted her head in consolation. However, he thought it was a you problem and walked away. Izanami finds herself following him into the forest, believing that this is fate bringing them together, and that he is her only source of hope. Out of nowhere, ninjas appeared and captured Saizo and Izanami, locking them up in chains so they couldn't move. The ninjas charged forward, and Saizo was unable to break free and protect Izanami. Just then, Yukimura and his subordinate Sasuke came to the rescue. Yukimura revealed he was using the two as a bait to draw out the ninjas. He began to tease Saizo about being held back by a group of weaklings. But in a flash, Saizo freed himself and demonstrated his incredible strength, taking out all of the ninjas in a single moment. Izanami is surrounded by more and more ninjas, and memories of her shrine burning to the ground with everyone in it come flooding into her mind. Her feelings of sadness, anger and despair start to build up, and her headband crystal changes to a dark color. Suddenly, a mysterious dark ball appears from the crystal, making a huge hole in the ground and destroying all the ninjas around her. Saizo came up to Izanami to make sure she was okay, when suddenly another hidden assassin appeared. Saizo quickly reacted and saved her, noticing that her headband crystal had returned to normal. Yukimura then welcomed them back to his castle and promised to look after Izanami. Saizo was ready to leave, but Yukimura guilt trips him to stay, as he needed to pay Izanami back for the food she had got for him. In spite of the aid he provided, Saizo was doubtful of Yukimura's true motives concerning Izanami. He secretly listened in on a conversation Yukimura had with his aide Rokuro about enlisting 10 brave warriors who control a mysterious power. The following day, Saizo went exploring in the forest and ran into an old friend, Anna. They had both studied at Iga school. Anna said she was working under Yukimura now, and suggested that Saizo should too. Izanami, who was feeling jealous, came along with Yukimura, and then Anna mentioned something about a huge snake in the forest. Saizo and Anna tried to take care of the situation, but Izanami tagged along. Eventually, they went their separate ways. Suddenly, Izanami was trembling in terror because she could feel the snake nearby. Saizo tried to get her away from it, but he was struck and ended up trapped under the snake's tail. He urges her to flee for her safety, yet she refuses to abandon the one she sees as her light behind. She attempts to rescue him from the serpent's grip, telling him that she has faith in him, demonstrating that someone is devoted to him and not exploiting him. He eventually used an explosion to free himself from the situation. Saizo quickly understood that the snake was being manipulated, so he impulsively struck it in the eye. The snake started to shimmer before it exploded, sending rubble and tree branches tumbling down around, trapping them. Izanami tells Saizo how much he means to her and that he's like her warm light in a world of darkness. He discovers a way to escape, only to find out that the castle is under attack. Saizo and Izanami come back, and Saizo is determined to find out who is responsible for the attack. However, Izanami is suddenly attacked by Hattori, the ninja who had previously attacked her shrine in Izumo. Saizo quickly jumps in to protect her, but the ninja is just too powerful and Saizo can't keep up. Hattori is so fast that Saizo can't even keep up with him. His strikes cut Saizo up, leaving him badly wounded. Hattori begins to mock Saizo's abilities, recalling the stories he heard about how Saizo was supposedly a legendary ninja genius, too skillful to even be harmed. But it turns out, Saizo is actually quite weak. Hattori then uses an unknown technique to try and finish Saizo off. He then attempts to take Izanami away while Saizo lies helpless on the ground. When Saizo saw Izanami so vulnerable, he recalled her words, how she said he was her shiny light in a world of darkness. His best friend's words then came to him, about how to be strong you must have something to fight for. Taking this to heart, he made a promise to himself that he would be her light, and protect her from harm. He quickly got back on his feet and faced off against Hattori, hitting him with such force that Hattori was forced to retreat due to his massive wound. The following day, Yukimura asked Saizo and Izanami to go to the Izumo shrine to investigate. He also gave them Kake as a helper. So, the group started off on their journey. That night, while Izanami was asleep, Kake told Saizo about Yukimura's plan to form a team of 10 warriors, them being part of it. Saizo wonders why, but neither of them has the answer. They come to the ruined temple and look around. Izanami has a flashback near a pillar that used to be red but now stands burnt. She started to cry and tried to hide her tears from Saizo, feeling embarrassed that she was grieving the death of her people. But Saizo was kind, he didn't tease her. Instead, he made her feel better by being comforting and supportive, and she hugged him in appreciation. The group stumbled upon a huge pillar with strange writing on it. Saizo noticed a large yin-yang symbol beneath it. Izanami activated it and a path to the underground revealed itself. As they ventured down the mysterious tunnel, they reached a dead end with something written on the wall. The ninjas arrived, ready to take Izanami's headband, a gift from the shrine priest since she was small. Saizo and Kake got into position, but the snake charmer stopped them with her snakes, taking on Kake and having Hattori face Saizo. The battle started, and Saizo was quickly overwhelmed by Hattori like the last time. Saizo was struggling to stand against Hattori, as the ninja was faster and stronger than him. But then Yuri, one of Saizo's old buddies who Saizo had spared before thanks to Izanami, showed up to help. Yuri's not as powerful as Hattori, but Saizo motivates him to come together and take on the ninja. Kake manages to kill the snake charmer and Hattori is forced to retreat. After returning, Yukimura invites Yuri to stay at his home and be part of the Brave 10. However, Saizo began to feel overwhelmed and didn't feel like he could protect Izanami, so he started to avoid her. Sasuke got very upset and decided to give Saizo a good beating. He said that Saizo was only weak because he wasn't allowing himself to accept his past and his hate, and that in order to be strong, he had to fight for someone else. Sasuke's words made Saizo see the light, and he finally understood that his true weakness was not accepting Izanami. Right at that moment, Izanami showed up and ran into his arms. Yukimura then called a gathering to talk about their search. Rokuro had a special ability with his right eye, which allowed him not to be fooled by any lies because he could see someone's memories and store them. After taking a look at what Saizo had in his mind, Yukimura lies and tells it's nothing important. They embark on an adventure, gathering the rest of the Brave 10 and Saizo is chosen to be their commander. He later visits Yukimura in his room to inquire about his real goal, and Yukimura finally confides in him. Yukimura showed Saizo a drawing of the yin-yang with 8 circles around it, and explained that the Brave 10 represent each element. He went on to say that whoever controls them has the power to change the world. Saizo, taken aback by the strange story, asked if he was the darkness. To his surprise, Yukimura shook his head and pointed to the light. He wasn't sure what to make of it, and jokingly said it didn't fit him because of his past and heart being filled with darkness. But then he remembered Izanami's special abilities, and suddenly he realized that it was she who was the darkness. He was confused and wanted to find out more. However, their conversation was cut short when they found out Anna had betrayed them. She tried to take Rokuro's eye, but he tried to protect himself, yet couldn't beat her. So, he chose to smash his eye so she would not be able to take it. Sasuke made an effort to help, yet Anna trapped him in ice and pierced him with her sword. Izanami asked Anna what was the cause of her behavior, to which Anna replied that they had been living a lie and she no longer wanted to be part of it. Saizo encountered Anna in the forest and discovered that she was a spy. This made him very angry, and he swore to put an end to her, believing that she was part of the group that had been putting Izanami in danger. He had her at sword point and started to interrogate her, but she used her ice powers to make a river nearby splash and freeze Saizo. Saizo did his best to shield himself, and Anna managed to get away. He came back to Yukimura to explain that Anna had managed to get away and ask if the yin and yang from the balance symbol had anything to do with Anna attacking Rokuro. Yukimura explains that when all the warriors have been gathered, they will help make the balance between light and dark, and especially help Saizo in controlling Izanami's powers. He tells that Izanami was abandoned as a baby in the Izumo shrine, and the kind priest caring for her observed her body turning dark when she was unhappy. Whenever Izanami felt sorrow or sadness, someone would mysteriously vanish without trace. The priest examined the shrine and noticed a mysterious energy coming from the yin-yang symbol. He soon realized that Izanami was the reincarnation of a powerful goddess of death. To help her control her power, he gave her a special hairband. Unfortunately, the lords heard about her and sent their ninjas to attack the shrine and capture her so they could use her to rule the world. Izanami heard what was said and sadly sat alone, thinking about it. Saizo watched her, concerned about her sorrow. His heart broke seeing her in such pain. Soon, Saizo found himself in a perilous situation when Hattori attacked him and he had to flee from Izanami. Hattori gave chase, and eventually they both arrived at the castle gate. Hattori warned Saizo that his mission was to take out all of the Brave 10 and take Izanami with him. No matter how much Saizo fights, Hattori is too powerful and quickly beats him to the ground. He then ties Izanami to a tree, and when Saizo refuses to give up, Hattori continues to pound him with blows. As Izanami cries, her special powers keep growing stronger. Hattori knows this and taunts her, telling her that it's all her fault. He says that if she hadn't met Saizo, he'd be safe, and if she wasn't connected to the burnt shrine, everyone would be alive. This made Izanami feel so much pain that her powers started to grow even more. Saizo got to his feet one more time, determined to stop Hattori from going too far. Unfortunately, as usual, Saizo couldn't land any strong blows to knock him down. Hattori told Saizo that Anna did not like living at the castle and pretending to be part of a happy family with everyone there. She hated them all and wanted to leave as soon as she could. This made Izanami feel even worse, as she had grown close to Anna, admiring her so much. Izanami's powers started to rage out of control, swallowing her up, but when she caught sight of Saizo, she was able to bring them back down. Izanami lost herself to the goddess, who took over her and started to attack everything. She used a dark ball to push everyone away, allowing Hattori to get his hands on the headband. Saizo tries to attack him to get it back and return Izanami back to normal, but Hattori is too fast and pins him down. He starts bragging on how his motives are pure. He only wants strength, and now with this headband, he can have it and control the world. Rokuro and Yukimura arrive, and he reveals how easy it was to manipulate Anna into betraying them, taking advantage that she lost her parents while she was still a kid, and promised he would help her get revenge. He didn't have care about her or her ambitions, all he wanted was power to control the world. Hattori attempted to use a headband to control Izanami. However, the darkness destroyed his hand and he tried to escape, but the darkness dragged him back and swallowed him up. Rokuro bravely tried to use his powers to stop the darkness, but it almost got him too. Luckily, Saizo came to the rescue, grabbing the headband and deciding to save Izanami all by himself. Saizo tried to slice the sphere open, but he couldn't get through. Suddenly, the headband activated a protective barrier around him and his sword. With this newfound power, the sword was able to penetrate the sphere and Saizo could enter. He sees Izanami and tells her to come back to him, but she is sunken in sadness, aware of her own destructive powers. She's worried that she'll keep hurting people and is tired and hurt. Saizo comforts her, telling her that being tired and hurting is proof she's human, and it doesn't matter if she's a goddess of darkness, she's still her true self, even impressing the goddess itself. She accepted him, and he broke through the wall of darkness that had been around her. They hugged and the gloominess vanished, and everything returned to normal. And she tells him again that he's her warm and comforting light. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.